Hello, what is up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I got a request from a friend of mine to do this eye look tutorial. This is the neutral eye that I've been going to and I've been doing a lot lately, so let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with a white shimmery eyeshadow. I like to highlight the eye first because one, I will forget if I don't do it at the beginning, and two, I feel like it adds just a little more subtlety. Sometimes I'll go back in with another highlight afterwards just to kind of ump the intensity if I think it needs it. But yeah, that's where we're gonna start. I'm just gonna lay it all over the lid, all the way up to the brow bone. I'm also gonna go ahead and bring it down into the inner corner. You can skip this step and do it last if you prefer to do your highlighting last, but this is just how I do it. I'm just gonna wipe that brush off and go in with a very warm, peachy kind of skin tone color, just a little bit darker than my skin tone. And I'm gonna bring that up onto the brow bone. If you don't like to bring your color that high, then keep it in your crease. This is just going to be our initial transition color. And this will just help the gradient from our browns to our skin tone. Now for the fun part. My favorite brush to use for this eye look is the Japanesque cut crease brush. I feel like it really just deposits color well and then blends it out beautifully. Sorry it's a little bit stained. It is clean, but yeah, just a little stained. I'm gonna go in with a light kind of khaki caramel color, if you will, and I'm gonna put that exactly where I just put my peachy warm toned shade, except maybe not quite as far out. And then once you have a nice gradient going, you're gonna go in with a slightly smaller brush than the one you've been using. And I'm gonna kind of take a mixture of a very warm reddy brown and a dark chocolate brown. Sometimes I'll use one and then the other, but lately I've been kind of mixing these two shades together and I feel like it really gives the depth and intensity that I like for this look. You just want to tuck that into the crease, and again, don't blow it out as much as you have blown out this khaki color. You want it just to be a nice soft gradient all the way through. You want to place the brush where you want the most color and then blend it out from there. And as I go in with darker and darker shadows, I'm going to keep the deepest shades towards the outside. I did bring like my khaki color and stuff all the way into the crease, but as I get darker, I'm going to start leaving them more and more to the outer portion of the eye. And if you ever feel like you overdid it with your deeper shade, you can go back in with the previous shade you used before that, just a shade lighter, and go over it to blend it out even better. Or alternatively, if you feel like it's not quite dark enough for your taste, you can always go back in and add more depth, more definition, more color, just whatever suits your needs for whatever you're gonna be doing today. Sorry if I keep looking in the viewfinder, you guys. Since I'm so zoomed in, I don't want to like duck out of frame like I tend to do. I like to go pretty dark with these looks. However, you can make it a little more daytime appropriate if this isn't your thing, by just using a lighter hand and not deepening it up as much as I am. Then once it's looking about like that, I'm gonna go in with an even smaller brush. And go in with a very dark chocolatey brown. This one kind of has a little bit of a glitter to it, but once you tuck it into the crease, you can't really see it. If you want to stick to matte shadows, then by all means go ahead. This is the only one I'm using today that isn't matte other than my highlight shade. I'm just tucking that into the outer V portion of the eye. And then once I have the color where I want it to be, I'm going to go back in with one of my bigger fluffy brushes and blend it out. And last but not least, I'm going to wipe off that same little brush that I just used for that dark brown and dip it into some black just to deepen it up a little bit more. If you're happy with the way it's looking right now, you can skip this step, but I like dramatic, so I'm going to go with the black. And just use it on the very outer portion of this look. And once again, go back to a fluffy blending brush. Go back to a fluffy blending brush and blend it out.
And Ariel.
And then for this look, you can either leave the lids blank if you'd like. I like to add a very light kind of a champagne-y color to the eyelid. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it, so it'll kind of make your eyes pop. But yeah, use whatever color you're feeling that day. You can always add color on the lid and do the warm brown to smoke it out, and it could be a gorgeous, colorful smoky eye. But I'm sticking to brown. 50 shades of brown for my face. So I love colors, but sometimes just a neutral eye can just be so pretty. And just pat that onto the lid. And then go back in one more time with a fluffy brush to blend the lid shade into your crease shade to make sure everything is just smooth and cohesive. And if you feel like you messed up any of your crease shades by adding that lid shade, you can go back in and deepen up any colors that you may feel got lost.
This can't be. I've made a terrible miscalculation.
Now I'm gonna do a quick wing before we move on to our lower lash line. And this is just one of those days where the wing is not cooperating for anything. I had to do it off camera and it still looks like crap, so excuse that. But I don't have much time to work on it anymore, so we're just gonna go with it. Don't judge me. So now moving on to the lower lash line. Wait, first, you want to tight line the upper lash line, otherwise you're gonna have a little bit of a white gap whenever you look up or to the side or something. You can see your upper waterline. I personally don't tight line the outer portion of my eye. I just do the inner portion because of the way my eyes are shaped. Do it however the way you want, or skip it if you feel like you don't need it or don't want to do it or can't do it or whatever. Tuck it up into the eye. And that's about as far as I will go with it. Now, moving on to the lower lash line. Me personally, I like to use black eyeliner on the outermost portion of my waterline and then a nude liner on the innermost. Using a nude or white liner will really open your eyes and make them pop. I feel like using white across the whole lower lash line looks a little bit uncanny valley, if you will, and I feel like adding the black to the outside makes it just a little more dimensional. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but that's just the way I do it. Use whatever color you feel looks best. You can always use brown if you feel like black is a little too harsh.
Now.
Make sure your nude pencil is clean. Otherwise you'll mess up just like I did and it'll look kind of gray. But oh well, we're rolling with it. One of those days, you guys, one of those days. If I'm seeming kind of down today or not as energetic or what have you, you know, family shit. But we're dealing with it. We're moving on with life. We're being happy. Makeup makes me happy, so that's why I'm pushing through and doing this, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, even though I may be a little depressing. I'm gonna start with that same khaki brown color that we used, woo, focus. We're gonna start with that same khaki brown color that we used as a transition shade on the crease and slap that all up under our lashes. I really like exaggerating the lower lash line. I have very big eye bags. I prefer to call them very large lower eyelids. But yeah, I guess they are bags, but you know, I deal with it. No amount of concealer can hide these things, so I just rock them and, you know, accentuate them. So I know that some people don't like adding color to their lower lash line. If you're one of them, go ahead, move on, you're done. But I like to add a lot of color to the lower lash line. I like it to be dramatic, and I'm gonna stop explaining myself and defending myself because one, I don't think y'all give a shit and you'll just move on if you don't want to do it, and two, nobody should have to be apologetic for who they are and what they do with their own face. So, moving on. I've said that a lot today, haven't I? Okay, khaki brown shade all on the lower lash line. I'm bringing it down pretty far. You can bring it down as far as you want or feel comfortable with. A slightly smaller brush, we're gonna start deepening it up, going back in with that mixture of the red and chocolate brown and adding it to the outer 3/4. And then finding a small pencil brush, I'm gonna go back in with black and just really deepen up that outer corner and connect it into that wing. all up underneath where we laid the black eyeliner and the waterline. Then go back to your fluffy brush in that khaki color just to use that to blend it all out. I feel like it needs a little bit more warmth, so I'm gonna go back in with just the reddish color, the reddish brown, and add just a little bit more of that to the center where the black meets the khaki. Now for lashes and mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright you guys, and that is the finished look. I went ahead and put on my lipstick as well. I will make sure and add all the eyeshadows and what lip color I'm wearing down below in the description box, so if you have any colors on any specifics that I used today, it'll all be found down there. I didn't want to use names. I wanted to kind of describe the colors I was using for this tutorial because, you know, not everybody has these exact shades. And as long as you have something similar, you know, you can recreate it. So that's what we're looking at right now. You don't need high-end makeup. You don't need expensive shit to make something pretty with your face. I hope you guys enjoyed the video this week. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below and let me know what you would like to see next. Thank you all so much for joining me. You are so very beautiful, and I will see you next time. Bye.